So Google just released their new Nano Banana image editor inside of Gemini, and some of its capabilities are pretty insane. I'm going to take a look at some of the things you can do with this new image editor. Now, this is actually an image generator, but what people have noticed, and I have confirmed through my own testing, is that Nano Banana, which is a very strange name, is incredibly good at editing photos. It's decent at creating them, probably not quite on the level of ChatGPT, but editing is something it seems to really excel at. So let's take a look at some examples. This is my dog, Lance. This is a real photo of him. So I handed this off to Gemini and asked Nano Banana to make him rainbow colored, like I dyed his fur. And this is what it produced, which is pretty realistic. It looks like I did indeed dye my dog a rainbow color. I then asked to put him on a beach in Hawaii. You can see it's not perfect, but it got his shadow right. It kind of didn't get his gait quite right in the back there. But, other than that, you could believe that my now rainbow colored dog is indeed on that beach in Hawaii. Another one I thought of was to see how it would handle finishing a construction project. So I took this photo of an actual construction project, and I said, okay, show me what this looks like when it's done. It's got dark gray paint and some restaurant tables. So this is the original, it's the prompt, and it created this look with the photo here. I also asked to make the wall in the photo dark gray. So this is our final look, and I'll show you what it actually looks like after that project was over. So it got the dark gray down perfectly. It got the kind of lattice ceiling there down really well. It added the windows in properly there. The tables, how would it know that the colors weren't going to be exactly like that? But otherwise, I think it did quite a good job. And this is a different angle. I took the photo over here, so we're looking at it from a slightly different angle. But you can see these big exposed beams that it got right. And put in some hanging light fixtures that I think is kind of neat. But look, it even put the speakers in there. It made them white, but it inferred that you'd want to have some outdoor speakers there in your nice restaurant patio. So I think it's pretty cool. And then there's these people hanging out, having their lunch out on that patio. So pretty neat capability. Another thing I tested out was what can I do with kind of like almost like a virtual clothing try-on. So I took a picture of me on the beach, and then I took a hat. This is a Tilly Airflow hat. And I said, show me wearing this hat. And you can edit two photos by combining them together. So these two go in there, and this is what it produced, a photo of me on that beach wearing that hat. Now, in fact, that is the hat that I own, and I did happen to take a video. I was able to grab a screenshot of me wearing the hat in the same exact time period on the same beach. And there's what I look like in reality wearing my Tilly hat. I think I look better in real life, but you can see it did a pretty admirable job of showing this is a completely AI-generated image. I think it widened my face a little bit, but other than that, it's got the sunglasses perfect, and the hat looks great, and that's exactly, in fact, how my Tilly Airflow hat looks on my head in that exact same spot in real life. So pretty neat. You can do these kinds of merging of photos together. And that's maybe a little bit of a silly example, although, it would be helpful to know how you looked in a hat before buying it. But certainly you can take any kind of photos and combine the two together to create something totally new. And it may distort the original a bit. Again, I don't look quite perfect here, but I think somebody who doesn't know me probably wouldn't even notice in that photo. Another thing I thought was kind of neat is you can even edit a historical photo. So I put in a photo of some of my relatives, and I said, hey, give one of these people an iPhone. And there he is holding his iPhone down there in this photo, just like a modern person in a photo. So it's, again, pretty realistic editing here. And it even kept the historical elements of the photo in place, like these little bits of damage on the back there. And you can take this even further. So I actually put in a photo of my grandpa in the 40s, and I asked it to basically restore and colorize this image. And you can see what it produced is pretty good. Now, it's not perfect. It gave him some medals that he didn't have in real life. You can see it just pinned those on his jacket, because I guess that's what an army uniform typically looks like. But it adds a lot of depth really to the photo, because you don't realize this is a lawn, that's the sky in the original, but by adding that in, especially the sky behind the gate, it does a great job, and it really makes that photo feel much more, you can see the depth, and it's much more realistic than it would have been originally. And then of course, once you create something like this, you can feed it back into Gemini's other functions. So I put this photo back in with the VO3 video generator, and you can see now my grandpa in the 40s walking out of the gate here towards the camera. Let's go by in the background. So pretty crazy capabilities you can do now inside of Gemini. I think that Nano Banana, again, is very good at image editing. And that can be altering an image, it can be merging different images together. I think it's particularly good at things like this, like changing an image across the board, changing the feel of it, something like that, or merging images together. I think it's less good at some of the functions, like, I like the simulation of the completed construction site, but it makes a lot of inferences and things that didn't quite turn out to be right. The feel of this space isn't quite perfect. We didn't get like the curvature and everything in there. But again, when you're merging photos together or kind of making global edits to a photo, I think it's quite impressive at doing that. If you found this helpful, please do like and subscribe. It really helps.